Hey, and welcome to my channel. My name is Caitlin D'Elia, and I am so glad you're here. Today, I'm going to give you 8 tips for how to work at home when you have a baby. So, things are crazy right now. It's 2020, it's the quarantine, but these tips are going to be true no matter what time of year it is or if you're in quarantine or not. If you're working at home with a baby, these tips are for you. So, first tip number 1, make a space for you to work that has room for your baby in it. So this is my office that I'm in right now, and I make sure that I have room for my baby's playpen and his high chair, and we hang out in here during the day. I make sure that he has everything that he needs in this room. So I have his bottle station set up because he's still eating bottles, drinking bottles. I also feed him in here. All of his diaper stuff is in the room next door, so it's just a quick walk out the door to change his diaper, change his clothes, and he naps right next to my office as well. So this makes my life really easy because everything's in one spot. Tip number 2 is to schedule your Zoom or phone calls for when the baby is napping. So I know we can't always control this. So our babies are going to nap whenever they feel like it, right? So you can't always plan for this. But most of the time, if your baby's a little bit older, they've fallen into a little bit of a schedule. I mean, Finn is 10 months right now. So I can usually say, hey, I'll call you between 9 and 10 or between 2 and 3 because those are his 2 nap times. Tip number 3 is to make a list of tasks that you want to accomplish for the day. So this may seem type A because I am, but lists help me so much because even if I don't accomplish everything on the list, it just gives me like a game plan for the day because otherwise I would just do nothing. So make a list, be able to check some things off, and at the end of the day, you're going to feel so much better because you're able to look at it and be like, wow, look what I accomplished. Tip number 4 is to take breaks. Give yourself an opportunity to relax. It may seem crazy, but because you're working with a baby and because you're working from home, work and home life kind of blur together. So make sure that you're giving yourself some opportunities to take a break from work, take a break from baby, and breathe. So read a chapter of a book, listen to some music, do something fun that you like to do, watch an episode of Netflix, whatever it is that like gives you a chance to just Tip number 5 is to have options for your baby. So I'm sitting here working at my desk and Finn starts to get bored pretty easily. So if I have him in his playpen, he has plenty of toys, but a lot of times he gets bored. I mean, who wouldn't get bored sitting there? So I like to have options for him. So I have his bouncer and his swing also in here with me so that I can switch him into a different spot if he gets bored. He can also come and sit on my lap, hold a toy while I work with one hand, depending on what it is that I'm doing. Tip number 6. I don't know. Tip number 6 is to eat healthy. So I know when I first started working from home, I had a tendency to just snack on whatever was around. I didn't have like a set lunchtime, and I didn't like plan out my lunch because I didn't have to. When I taught, I would have to bring a lunch to work with me, and so I would only eat that. And I'd also be like really busy with my students all day, so I wouldn't snack. But once I started working from home, oh my gosh, I was snacking all the time. So make sure that you're still planning a lunch and that you're also planning healthy things for your baby because that's really important too. We want to make sure that they get the nutrients that they need. Tip number 7 is to give yourself some grace. This is very similar to the take a break one, but I think this is really important. Right now, since we're in the quarantine, everyone is in this situation. Everyone is working from home. Everyone has their kids crawling all over them. So don't stress yourselves out about being that perfect person that you were when you were going to work. Give yourself some grace and mercy and allow yourself to know that this isn't the same as it normally is. Now, if you're watching this and the quarantine is over and you are working from home with a baby, still give yourself some grace because you are working at home with a baby. And people will understand. People will understand what it's like to have that baby with you all the time. And maybe you can't do the caliber of work that you used to be able to do, and that's okay. Give yourself some grace, respect yourself, love yourself, because that's really important. My 8th and final tip is to embrace this time. embrace it, and be thankful for it. So if you're watching this during the quarantine, you may not have this opportunity again to spend this time at home with your kid. And how beautiful is it that you get to be at home with them right now, and you get to watch them grow, and you get to see those things that you may have missed if they were in daycare or with your parents or something like that, or with a nanny. You wouldn't get to see those things, and now you do. So as frustrating and tiring and exhausting as it is to be 100% mom and 100% work, realize that this is a gift. And if you are watching this outside of the quarantine and you are just working at home with your baby, wow, what an opportunity and what a blessing it is that you get to work at home with your baby. Not everyone gets to do this, and there are a lot of moms that would love to be at home with their babies. I know when I first had Finn, I was still teaching and I couldn't be at home with him, and it broke my heart to leave him every day and not be able to see his big milestones happen. And I want you to know that this is an awesome gift. So embrace it, be thankful for it, and try to have some fun, because that's how we're going to make it through. So smiles, you got this, mama. I believe in you.